Okay, it feels kind of like this course has been really short. And I think a lot of that is because a lot of the fundamentals of tarot reading, how to conduct a good reading, how to connect with your deck, etc., we covered in part 1, and this is more sort of an extension onto it. But there's just a few other things I want to sort of quickly touch on before we complete the course, if you like. And that is that, first of all, some people find it a lot harder to connect with the minor cards than the major ones. Often because, you know, like, as I say, with the major cards you've got so much artwork, and the meanings seem a lot more general and a lot more fluid, and you can fit them into the reading a lot easier in some ways. It's easier to make that storyboard and get that full meaning of the reading when it's almost like you have more to work with the major cards. With the minor ones, they do take a little bit more getting used to, I think. I think once you've worked with them for a while, you do get that feeling of being confident with them and being happy with their meanings and being able to extract their meanings in a more dynamic way. And that is just practice. There's no way around that. It's just working with them and getting used to doing it. What I would say is you also get a sense for their place in a reading. You don't read the minor cards with quite the same weight that you read the major cards. So when you're doing a reading, you'll get a few major cards, and they'll be your big themes. They will set the tone for the rest of the cards. And then your minor cards are more the fine details, the little sort of subtleties, if you like, that are affecting the reading. And that comes naturally as you read them. You find yourself naturally doing that in your head. So don't panic if, you know, you start adding these cards to major ones and going, doesn't work. It will come with time. Just keep practicing with it and keep persevering with it. It's the only thing I can really say, to be honest. There's no magic trick to it. Just keep working through them and getting used to them and building the relationship with that part of the deck. The other thing that I just wanted to quickly mention is that you now have quite a good sort of life hack for card reading, if you like. The major cards, basically the meanings and the way you read them will transfer over directly to standard playing cards, minus the knaves or the pages. So if you read them sort of 1 to 10, Knight, King, Queen, and the 4 suits, you have a deck of playing cards, basically. The suits transfer across, so hearts are synonymous with chalices or cups. Clubs are wands and staffs. Spades are swords. And diamonds are pentacles. So you can, if you're ever out and about, or if you just want to try reading playing cards. Playing cards were actually the first thing I learned to read. I kind of learned it back to front to the way that I teach it, which probably made life a little bit complicated. But the first thing I learned to read was playing cards. So interestingly, I tended to connect to the minor arcana quite easily, and then looked at the major arcana and went, these mean loads of things. So I did it a little bit backwards, but yeah, you can now read playing cards exactly the same way. Yeah. So basically, you know, the other thing I would say is if there's been a bit of a gap between you doing part 1 and now this part 2 course, it's probably worth jumping back into the part 1 course and having a look through the videos, as I mentioned earlier, connecting with your deck, delivering a good reading, all of those sorts of things, and build from there. Yeah. And you know, it's always helpful to go back. You know, sometimes people think, I've done that now, I never have to look at it again. I'm past that. But actually going right back to the basics with the practice, with all practices like this, actually, taking yourself right back to the basics is sometimes really helpful. I go through times where I've been reading tarot loads for weeks, just because of what I do, and it'll get to the point where I go, you know, I'm just going to have a couple of days break. And often in that couple of days break, I'm just going to look back at some of my very first notes that I made when I started reading, and it just kind of, it's almost like a cleansing of your headspace. It refreshes your thought process. It reminds you of that connection you first had when learning with them and working with them, and takes sort of the complacency out of it a little bit, which happens to us all. So yeah, enjoy reading your full decks. Try not to get hassled too much off family members asking for readings all the time, which always happens all the time.